So we gave you a little tour of the Zenguin's emotional support blankie on the other video, so I won't go into that in any more detail. These are just a couple of strategies that you can use in conjunction with the blankie more than just putting it over a bed or a chair or around you. So there's a very simple sitting one, a simple standing one, and one which takes a little bit more time, but it's still worth knowing anyway, and you can experiment with whichever ones work for you. So number one, the simple one. Simple way to use the blanket to reduce stress, take a time out and use the blanket as your little timeout kind of space. And this can go for any age, whether it's children, teens, young adults, and upwards. Then one thing, very simple thing that you could do is simply to open this up, put it on the floor, sit in the middle of it, and do some very easy 5-second in, 5-second out breathing for at least 5 minutes. Timing is quite important. For anyone who's going to come on a course with us in the new year, I will explain why certain times are very important in terms of the nervous system and what it needs to be able to kind of de-escalate and calm down. So, first one, very simple. The reason why it might be a little better than a yoga mat to use is that yoga mats are very narrow, and because this is illustrated, and it's wider, there's a bigger visual boundary around you when you're sitting in the middle of it, which gives this sense of space, particularly if you've been like overwhelmed or just like lots of people coming at you with requests, or you just need a real time out and just rest for a bit. So on the floor, very easy. Second way you can use it is a standing method. So you would put this on the floor and you're literally going to, whether it's you or if you've got a child with you, you can do it with them. You can hold their hand and go around together. You're literally going to walk around the blanket on the outer bit of the blanket. You're still in the blanket because you need to be able to feel the blanket under your feet. You need to be able to feel the texture. So you're just going to walk, start at any point, pick one corner and start, and then just do a circuit on the blanket. And with each foot, you're going to do one in breath, one out breath. So you might put your left foot down, take a breath in, put your right foot down, take a breath out. Left foot in, breathe in, right foot down, breathe out. So you just go in and out and see if you can coordinate it with your feet all the way around. And you're really trying to squeeze your toes against the fabric. It will bring your attention right down to your feet, which is very grounding. It will take up your working memory. You've got to try and concentrate on breathing in and out with the feet. So it makes intrusive thoughts a little bit more difficult to sneak in. And it's quite a rhythmic, soothing thing to do, is just to walk slowly around. And then you could always flip the blanket around and walk on the Sherpa side, just to feel a different texture, and your system will register that and pay attention to that. And you can do that on your own, or you can do that holding a child's hand. If you want to get them to kind of calm down a little bit, is just take them for a walk around the blanket, but making sure you're still on the blanket. And so that's a super simple standing way that you can use, and you can go around as many circuits as you want. And then the last one is a little bit more complex, but it's a lovely one, where you would unfold the blanket, put it on the floor, and you're going to make a little mini fort wall on the blanket in a sort of a rough circle. So you would just gather cushions, pillows. You could even fold jumpers up into a square, anything that just gives you a visual perception of depth. You don't have to have them all touching each other in a perfect circle. You can have little spaces in between, depending on how many items you can find. You want enough to give you a sense of a wall. So you're going to put the blanket on the floor and then just dot the pillows and the cushions around you in a rough circle. And depending on the day, you might find that some days you want to bring the wall close to you, and some days you might want more of a sense of space and you want the wall away from you. But just even that little visual depth of a cushion or a pillow is enough to feel really quite soothing to the system for a lot of people. And then you would just sit in the middle, and you can do, again, just a very simple 5-second in, 5-second out breathing for 5 or 10 minutes. Or you could bring something like a book or doodling or journal, or just do an activity in there. The one thing I would say to you though is, if you want to set a timer, let's say you've only got sort of 10-15 minutes or 20 minutes max to do this. If you use your phone to set a timer, even if you set the timer, put the phone outside the fort wall. So it's just you inside the fort wall and any sort of non-electrical activity that you might have in there. One of the reasons why I say to do that is that these days, if you've got your phone, people can sort of access you. As long as you've got your phone, they can sort of access you. So if you're going to create a little bit of a timeout space for yourself and make sure that someone can't access you in that time, put the phone outside your mini fort wall. And those are your 3 extras to do with the blankie.